Hey, Jared here, and I want to share with you a recent story about a difficult conversation with a family member of mine. And my point in making this video is one to highlight that these conversations with family members, they're tough. They are tough. When a relationship with a family member isn't working, like, and having that conversation, it's the toughest types of conversations I feel. So I just went through this with my brother, and I wanted to, one, just kind of recap. It just happened yesterday. And two, hopefully show that this stuff that I'm talking about here on this channel, Eating Enlightenment, the path to overcome overeating, it spills over into the rest of your life. Because when you target the shame voice, which is our core problem in Eating Enlightenment that we face, we journal and we do all this awareness activity so that we can really identify the shame voice, hear it, and to challenge it or connect to a different part of ourselves. And this process gives you the skills to have a better life in general. So with my brother, I'm in the car and I bring up, hey man, let me express my needs. Let me express my feelings. I don't want to put this on you. I just want to express my feelings. So right there, I'm owning my feelings. I'm not saying you're the blame or anything like that. I'm also grounded and present in my body because these are keys to stop binging as well. And I'm able to feel my emotional needs and feel the pain. And I'm able to say, hey, our relationship right now is not working for me. It is, it's causing me a lot of pain. And, there are good things as well. I don't want to focus. I don't want to just say it's all bad. And this is another important skill in binge eating, in recovering from binge eating, is seeing that things can be both good and bad. Is open, instead of a perfectionistic black or white thing, being open to uncertainty, being open to ambiguity. And so I express this, and we start transitioning the conversation to, like, what does your ideal relationship with your brother look like? Like, what do you want from me? And my needs are pretty simple. I say, I want to talk with you at least once a month instead of like months on end going by with crickets. Just side note, this is like typical for my family. We didn't really yell at each other. We didn't really I don't think in my entire life I've really heard my parents ever yell. And it's only been in the past few years, past 5 years, when I really got over the hump and I yelled at my parents for the first time in my life. That was a huge moment for me because our whole family suppresses emotions, disconnects from the body, and thinks. And so we avoid conflict, we avoid people, we're disconnected. And so, anyways, not to just entirely do a family bash here, but I just want to put a little context around the family thing that was going on. I hadn't heard from him in months. Was trying to reach out. Crickets. It hurt. Like, is this my brother? And I said, hey man, it makes me feel sad that it feels like you're bonus points. It feels like right now the best I can hope for is that you're icing on the cake, that you're a bonus, that I shouldn't really expect you to be in my life. That's sad to me. And I'm able to say that without blaming him. I'm able to own my emotions. I'm able to say, as the conversation progresses, here's what I want from you. I want us to talk at least once a month and to reply to my text messages within a week. And here's where things get difficult. As you might expect, these conversations don't really go neatly, but basically he says he's pissed at me. And here's really where the training that I've undergone through therapy and healing my own struggles comes in. Because logically, he's saying he's angry at me because I'm not we don't need to get into that, but he's angry at me for reasons that I disagree with. And right then and there, I think where most people go wrong when they have these conversations is they argue. No, they say, no, I didn't do that. They bring up facts, right? They're trying to argue about facts. No, I didn't say that. You started this. I did this. You're telling me this. And I wanted to go there. Don't get me wrong. I wanted to be, dude, you mother ever. Like, so pissed off, right? But through this binge eating training, I'm like able to handle it. I'm able to handle the rage that comes up, and I'm able to stay connected to myself. But also, I have the presence of mind to be able to connect with him as well. So I listen to him. I just listen. And I'm able to reflect back. I'm able to contain my rage and save it for another part of the conversation later in a wiser way. I'm able to reflect and say, sounds like you're angry at me. That's okay. You can be angry at me. You can be angry at me. You can be disappointed in me. And I could take that emotional blow. And that's really what I want to convey through this video, is that this yoga of eating stuff, it helps you handle emotional blows and not react and not go off on someone else. It helps you really have these difficult conversations where you can take the emotional blows they give you. And if you can take the emotional blows, then they can calm down, in a nutshell. And you can actually get somewhere in the conversation that makes sense. Because after this, then he's able to articulate, hey, here's what I want from you. And side note too, and when I say blows, I'm any sort of abuse, any sort of trauma, any sort of, they're yelling at you type of emotional blows, or just like, I'm talking about a reasonable conversation here. I understand not all family situations are this reasonable. I mean, me and my brother, we're talking, we're civil, we're listening to each other, we're trying to make this work, even though it's difficult. So this is sort of the context. I'm not talking about absorbing literal blows where they're totally coming at you. That you gotta draw a boundary there, and you gotta get out. You gotta set up a wall, whatever. Don't let yourself, get pulled into the negativity. But if you do have a family member whose relationship is breaking apart, then you can do this. You can do this. It is the best thing you can do, is to have these difficult conversations with family members. I mean, I think yes, it's the best thing you can do. It's the hardest thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. This was taxing for me. Very, very taxing. But I wanted to share this with you just because I recently went through this, and I feel like it really helped our relationship. I was able to hear his disappointment and anger, and I didn't need to prove him wrong. I was able to connect with the deeper emotion. And that's how you heal the relationship, right? It's not about proving them wrong or right or winning an argument. It's about connection. And I was able to hear the anger, and he was able to sort of sense that I could take it. And then we could relax a little bit and kind of talk about what we really wanted. And I think this is important to share. It's important because these conversations are so difficult. These conversations with parents and family members, they're incredibly difficult. They bring up such emotions. But I think this is an example of how these skills work in real life, and they work for binge eating too. These skills go beyond binge eating. They really do. They're the skills that help you have good relationships. They're the skills that are worth having, quite frankly. And they're difficult to learn, but man, I just think of the training that I've gone through over the past years. And previously I would have either shut down, I would have not dug deep and said what I wanted. I would have not gone there. I would have backed out. I would have become overwhelmed. I would have tried to argue my way out. I would have tried to blame it on him. None of that. Instead, it was just pure truth. And I guess this video is just about that. So I'll wind this video down. This is kind of a winding video, but hope you understand where I'm trying to come from here, and to show you that just to share what's going on with me, really. I guess I'm trying to do more of that in this video as well, just sharing where I'm at in life and all that. Yeah, thanks for coming along for this journey with me. Really appreciate it. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't, and stay tuned for future updates. Let's call it at that. Namaste.